Good morning and welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Laura Jones. It's so good to be with you this morning.
So nice to have you with me, my friend.
Well, thank you.
Good to see you live and in person on a Friday morning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's Friday, so we want to know what's going on this weekend. So let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta with the weather. Mike, how's it looking?
Looking beautiful. A lot nicer than yesterday.
We so had much better, but so much water on the roads, Mike.
Yes, so much flooding because there were between 3 and 4 inches of rain that fell last night across some parts of New Jersey. Over in the Passaic River Basin near the Hackensack River where they meet, there were close to 5 inches of rain that fell in the last 24 hours. So really impressive rainfall amounts. That's what you typically find in the span of a month, and yet it just fell in the course of a day. Now our forecast this afternoon as well as this weekend looking quite dry for a change, and we'll enjoy the 60s taking over across New Jersey with highs that will feel much more like spring should. Early April as we start our day here on this April 8th, beginning rather clear with the sunshine breaking through the clouds early this morning, climbing to that average high in the low 60s. Now, there could be a few spot sprinkles around by the tomorrow time frame. We'll get to that part of the forecast in just a bit. But around New Jersey today, anticipate the upper 50s there in Sussex County, 63 over in Newark, 61 in Howell, and down the shore, 61 in Lacey Township. Those mostly sunny skies linger throughout this afternoon. We have a beautiful evening ahead, and then a few pop-up sprinkles might be on the way for tomorrow, especially going into our Saturday afternoon. Not too concerned about a heavy rain on the 3-day forecast, but even as we head into Sunday, we're back to the clear sky. Notice a little bit of a temperature drop. It's a weak front that pushes through, drops our temperatures about 10 degrees cooler than today, but it's still a lot nicer than all of those heavy rains we had to endure for the last few days. So clear sky takes over, returns on Monday. We've got a beautiful day shaping up to start off next week, and we'll welcome the dry weather just as the weekend gets going after so much wet weather. And like you mentioned, that lingering flooding going to last for a few more days at least with all of that wet weather and all of the residual runoff now running down into the streams and the rivers. So we'll likely see those rivers crest later on today into tomorrow. Plenty of rain last night. We could use some dry weather ahead as we had a little more than we're used to for at least April showers. We'll take another check of the forecast coming up, and we've got all the details on the warmth ahead on the 7-day. Can't wait to tell you about that.
Oh, now you're talking, Mike. That's definitely what we want to hear about for sure. I felt washed away yesterday.
I'm done with April showers already.
Yeah, it's good.
Bring on the Mayflowers.
We're good. We're good for now. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, thank you very much. We'll touch base with you in just a little bit. So, Laura, check this out. This is a crazy story. Real Housewives of New Jersey star Jennifer Aydin says someone broke into her home while her parents and kids were inside and stole her Ferrari from the garage. Take a look at the surveillance video she shared. The video shows the suspects approaching her garage door. Police say they took the garage door opener from an unlocked car and were able to get inside. And then the orange Ferrari had the key fob in it. It was parked in the garage. The 2016 Ferrari America is worth almost $200,000. She left the key inside, and so the thieves took it. The car was found damaged in the parking lot of an Irvington hotel. Jennifer Aydin was on vacation with her husband at the time of the robbery. We cannot say it enough, though. Do not leave your keys in your car.
Exactly. Oh, and my husband's family used to do this, and it drove me crazy. I'm like, why?
Lock the car, take the keys with you, no matter who you are, where you park the car, where you live.
Can you imagine, though, coming back thinking, please tell me this was an April Fool's prank?
Right.
Hoping, but it was not.
No.
At least they did find the car, so you get that closure.
Yeah, at the very least.
What a shame. Well, in his first appearance since getting COVID, Governor Murphy reminded people that the virus is still among us. The governor credits being vaccinated for his relatively easy return or his easy bout with the virus.
And a new study co-authored by Rutgers University says over a third of teachers were harassed or threatened by students during the pandemic. Almost half of them wanted to quit or transfer. I have a lot of friends and family members who are teachers, and I have seen that firsthand.
Oh, I can imagine, because parents had that look into the classrooms and everybody's emotions were already.
Yeah.
So it came out.
They really
on
just
some very undeserving souls. Very undeserving souls. Well, also Also, in news of education, a new bill proposed in Trenton would force public schools, high schools to start no later than 8:30 a.m. beginning the 2024-25 school year. Now, the average start time for New Jersey schools is 7:51 a.m. compared to the national average of 8 a.m. The bill would allow teens to sleep longer in the morning. Now, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, who sponsored the bill, says it's an effort to support students' mental health as well as their physical well-being.
Okay, now you're a mom of
Yes.
teenagers.
Totally 100% agree with this because they have activities after school. Then some of them have jobs, and my daughter does theater, so she's into the theater until 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
They need that extra time, and the little ones, they're the ones who are awake. Like little ones, their school doesn't start till 8:30.
Yeah,
so
and they're
flip
up
it.
at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, so flip it around. Give the teenagers that time to sleep
Little more
because
time.
they really need.
think-
If they're tired, how are they supposed to focus?
The only argument I've heard against it is really more from the working parents saying, I don't have a way of getting them to school at that hour and me to work on time.
Right. Well, if it's public schools, then the school buses should be there, and you're talking high schoolers, so in theory, ages, like 14 up, so they should be a little bit more self-sufficient.
Independent, yeah.
But not in all cases.
Yeah,
not in all
that's-
cases. And then some schools where you have to walk. So yeah, it's well. Then if the parents aren't home, you're not there to wake them up.
Your kids are going to have to be responsible for themselves.
Well, Republican state senators introduced a bill to increase parental oversight of school curriculum. One bill would require schools to make curriculum plans available to parents and the public. Another would mandate that boards of education post their meeting schedules at least 48 hours in advance. I actually thought that was the law already, that they had to post those agendas, but not all school boards do that. Now, a third bill would increase transparency in state funding, and a fourth would prohibit teachers from advocating their political beliefs or teaching critical race theory.
Boy, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
And they're all separate bills.
Right. And meantime, a lot of students, parents are just worried about, can we catch up those 2 years that we kind of missed?
Yeah, I think right now that's kind of more the priority is
get them back up to speed.
Get them back into the routine.
Yeah.
All right, Laura, coming up next, we're talking about Grammys fashion with fashion stylist Angie Hassan, and you guys can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We will keep you up to date on who's going to be on the show. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
Did you know that heart disease is the #1 killer of women? I didn't, until it happened to me.
All women need to know that cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. Know your family history and talk to your doctor about heart disease.
Awareness may make the difference between life and death.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. So the state has approved a pilot program that allows state workers to work from home. In the meantime, several state lawmakers have proposed legislation to check if state workers are picking up the phone and responding to taxpayers' requests. I think we all know the pain of trying to get a hold of any public office.
Even when they are in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
now
then-
they're going to be checking up on them. So this one's interesting, Laura, speaking of working from home. So Wallet Hub says New Jersey is the best place to work from home. They conducted a study that looked at different aspects of the work environment and the cost of living. Somehow we're #1.
Well,
I'm not sure how that all...
I have a theory.
Okay.
I have a theory because we're not on the roads in traffic. So our attitudes are a little bit better.
We've calmed the Jersey in all of us.
We've centered ourselves. We're taking the deep breaths because, when you're in the traffic and
Yeah.
you're stuck in those or just dealing with some difficult drivers.
You know what?
So you're a lot more calm and centered.
It took me over 2 hours to get home yesterday because of the weather.
Yes.
Yeah, it was wild.
Puts you in a grumpy mood.
Oh, it does. Let's bring in meteorologist Mike Favetta. We'll get a check of that forecast because, whoa, baby, did it rain yesterday.
Oh yeah, it rained in a big way. In fact, that's why I am here in my fiance's kitchen because I could not make it home last night.
Oh
The
boy.
roads were horrendous with the
Yes.
downpours. There was lightning coming through New Jersey and flooded roadways everywhere. I thought, okay, it's not worth it. We'll just do the morning show from the other
Conveniently, she
side
has a
of the road.
lovely kitchen.
You look great.
Well, she would love to hear that. Designed by
Yes.
herself, and it's the
Well, let's
pride.
take a look at the pantries behind. It looks very nice, very zen. It's so organized. Mine would never look that nice.
Laura,
Good
music
style.
to your ears. So you're going to have some music to your ears with this forecast because with the sunshine that's around today, beautiful weather all around going into this afternoon. The sun is shining now and it will warm us into the 60s. Now, this dry weather lasts through the afternoon, but I think there could be a few sprinkles that pop up tomorrow. Not expecting heavy rains like yesterday on our Saturday. Just keep the umbrella close by, especially for the afternoon. However, Palm Sunday is dry, starting off the second half of the weekend. Mostly sunny skies and a little bit of a cooler breeze with temperatures that begin in the morning on Sunday in the 30s, then eventually climb into the low 50s. So there will be a little bit more of a chill around as we head into Sunday afternoon. There's a big warm up on the way, and it will finally return those temperatures in the 70s here across most of New Jersey. It'll feel very pleasant, especially by the middle of next week. So we're looking forward to that. Now, with all of the rain that we had last night and the warmth that's coming for this weekend and with the sunshine, you know that means allergies are going to be back in a big way. And the forecast for the tree pollen is that it returns to the high level. We haven't seen the high level in about 2 weeks because of that cooler, chilly weather that allowed for plenty of rainfall to come in. And that tends to keep the pollen levels down when there's rain kind of consecutive day after day. But now with the warmth in the forecast today, the warmth in the forecast and sunshine for the next few days into next week, yeah, there's going to be a real big shot of tree pollen as it's been the predominant pollen for the first part of spring. Then we tend to get into the grasses and weeds. Those likely begin to raise in concentration by the end of April, going into early May. So with our forecast pointing toward a warmer trend, notice the right half of this map showing the shades of orange and red right over New Jersey. That is the 60 to 70% chance of above average temperatures going through the middle of April. That's some great news given that we've been a little cooler than average, especially with those kind of chilly starts earlier in the week. So with this milder trend ahead, we've got some beautiful weather upcoming and it will look fantastic on the 7-day with those 70s. We'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up, especially as we hit that 70-degree mark sooner than you think. Those details in just a few minutes.
I am very, very excited for that moment, Mike. Thank you very much, meteorologist Mike Pavetta.
All right, well, Sunday night was the Grammys, and we saw some really stunning looks on so many of the guests. Joining us now to talk about all these iconic moments in fashion, style, and costume designer, Inji Hassan. Inji, thank you so much for joining us.
How are you guys doing today? Good morning.
Good morning.
Listen, I know I had my favorites, but I yield to the experts. So in your opinion, who was this year's best dressed at the Grammys?
I feel like usually the Grammys is very exciting because you can do so many different things. It really can elevate, you can have fun with it. And there's really no wrong look because you're a character for your music. But I definitely think that there were some artists that really took it this year to a completely different level. I love Lady Gaga. She did Old Hollywood Glamour. She actually wore 3 amazing looks. Her first look was by Armani Privé. It was beautiful. It was black with a long white back sash. I also really love Dua Lipa. She wore Versace Couture. It actually was vintage. Cindy Crawford wore it in 1992, and Donatella also wore it in the 90s. It was just like something different because it was iconic look again. It was something that we've seen before and, emulated to the younger generation. So it was seeing it like back in the day and now. I also really love other people's looks like Lil Nas X. He wore a Balmain look, and it was just kind of like a trendsetter for men and showing that you can take it to the next level. A lot of the men's fashions was different. It was like just all different kind of great looks.
Yeah. So, and what were some style trends that we saw on the red carpet that, us plebeians could possibly emulate here in real life?
I definitely think like coming up now will be bridal market, a lot of galas. There'll be a lot of different things coming for the spring, even prom, and you're gonna see a lot of the old Hollywood glamour that came from the Grammys and other red carpet events, ball gowns, the shimmer dresses that are like elevated where it's like a mermaid silhouette. You'll see a lot of different kind of silhouettes that work on a woman's body. And there's highs and lows, I feel, for the female market. For the man's market, it's kind of like everything is going. You're seeing on the red carpet very fitted trousers from like Jared Leto wore and Lenny Kravitz, to you see somebody like Justin Bieber who wore like a big suit by Yves Saint Laurent. So it's like completely different.
Yeah, one of the things that you want to avoid on the red carpet is a fashion crash. And there was a moment when we saw Dua Lipa and Megan Thee Stallion wearing the same dress. So what can you share about that?
I definitely think it was an iconic moment. I mean, we've seen this before years ago with Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey at the VMAs. And they both wore Versace, Megan Stallion and Dua Lipa, and they were on stage. And I take it as an empowerment woman moment, meaning like two women can be on stage and winning awards to get like the same awards and doing incredible and wearing the same designer. And even if you show up, what is the big deal? You're two different strong women and it's beautiful. What was great was Donatella came up and, she made it very comical and kind of changed and tweaked it to their personalities. And everyone laughed about it, but I took it to like, it's okay, show up at the, to an event wearing something very similar to somebody else or the same thing and still look gorgeous.
I love that. So, Angie, you've mentioned a couple times already, like the men's fashion, and I feel like the male celebrities are really working on like catching up with the ladies these days. Like it used to really just being, the straight black tux, maybe a navy blue one. And now, like you said, we're really starting to see like men's fashion trends. So what are some of those trends that we saw at the Grammys?
I definitely think that the trousers have changed. You're seeing a lot very, similar silhouettes that are fitted throughout the Italian designers to American designers. And then now you're starting to see more of a baggier approach coming that becomes a classic fit. I love John Legend and what he just wore, a very classic look that anybody could wear, but he added a velvet to it. Like, it was the fabric of his beautiful bow tie and his blazer, and it just added something more of volume. Also just colors. Like you have someone who's taking a risk taker like Jared Leto, who's always, wearing colors of suiting that's like a full blue from Gucci or a full pink. And, they're adding it with like just a basic solid shirt, or they're doing it with a floral. I think for men's fashion, you can have more fun. You can wear a full color suit. You don't have to stick to the basics of just a black or a gray or a navy, depending where you're going, of course. But you could definitely have more fun with men's fashion.
Well, the next big thing coming up for a lot of people is prom and these dances. So are there any Grammy trends that we might be seeing translating into styles that we see in the stores? Because I know that I saw some dresses. I'm trying to Google, look alike this dress. Like you mentioned Don Legend. I loved Christy Teigen's pink dress.
Yeah.
I love pink. I love that ball gown. So anything that we might see translating into the stores? And if so, when?
I already think some of these, because we've seen these dresses already in the shows. So a lot of the market designers have been shown already in different runway shows. So the buyers from the stores have already seen them. And I think now, like the way that a lot of designers, they replicate and copy the most important dresses of the year and ones that are loved right away. I definitely think you'll see for a lot of these, like, the dresses by like even Versace by Doja. She was looking great with this blue dress and had emulate, sheen style, and you can see a lot of the ball gowns. I do think that there's a variety, so you can get all different kind of styles. You can be old Hollywood like Lady Gaga, or have fun like Dua Lipa and keep it sleek and chic.
Yeah, it's so much. I could spend the whole morning just talking about fashion, but we're out of town. Angie, thank you so much for taking the time to kind of go and play a little fashion police and letting us know a little of your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great weekend, Angie. Thanks so much.
Well, you know, we're talking about the Grammys, and then we had the Oscars. You know, then we'll have the Tonys coming up.
Yes.
But locally, you know, there's some great talent locally, and I speak from experience here.
I know you do.
We've got a few photos. Locally, there's a theater, Music Mountain Theater, and this is in Lambertville, and they have a production of. Can you tell what it is?
Sound of
The Von
Music.
Yep, those are the Von Traps. Oh, look at that. That's Liesel.
I was going to say,
that's my daughter.
Yes, it is. I was going to say,
sorry.
which Von Trapp child was that?
Yeah, that's Liesel and Rolf, played by her friend Zach. So this is happening at Music Mountain Theater now through the 24th. They have performances on Friday night at 8 o'clock, Saturdays at 3 and 8 o'clock, and then Sundays at 3. They also have children's theater, The Frog Prince. My daughter's in that as well. So, you know, you get to, it's a very affordable, and you can go online to musicmountaintheater.com. You can go on to Facebook, but the talent is really extraordinary. Some of the people in this show come from all kinds of backgrounds, and it's extraordinary talent. And it's
I have to tell you, Laura, I have not been down to Music Mountain Theater, but I do know that local theater in New Jersey is exceptional, and it's you know, a very, like you said, affordable alternative to going into the city and going to see a Broadway show. I mean, these people are 110% professionals. They do a fantastic job. And I was also a theater kid, and Sound of Music was one of my favorite shows to be in. Don't get me wrong, I was in the chorus. I can't sing to save my life, but
it's a triple threat: sing, dance, and act.
Yeah.
Some things come natural for some, so you don't have to be. You don't have to be all. But it's a great show. And then you know, some of the people coming in, it's a community theater, but some of the people who come in have been performing on Broadway. There was a young person who actually had performed as part of Radio City Music Spectacular.
Wow.
So you get an amazing amount of talent. And then you have the young people, the rising stars. They have summer camps, all kinds of good things. So I can't say enough about it. And
okay,
and of
so
course
when
I'm
is
going to be there.
When is the show running?
Tonight. So
okay.
it's this week. Well, it's all the way through the 24th of April. And shows are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Fridays at 8 o'clock, Saturdays at 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and Sundays at 3 o'clock. And you can go online and get tickets, and it's probably going to sell out. So go online, get tickets. You won't. And you want to sing all the songs with it.
I mean, it's stuff that you know. Yeah.
Every single song. Like, I want to do a sing-along with it.
We can do that in the kids' theater.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a sing. All right, guys, coming up next, we've got Anthony Paradiso, Tony Paradise from JerseySportingNews.com. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are going to keep you up to date. Who's coming up on next week's show? And if you missed any part of this one, we'll have all of those segments up for you. Be sure to check us out. Click follow.
On Thursday, April 7th, join St. Joseph's Health Foundation at Fashion with Compassion, an annual benefit for St. Joseph's Children's Hospital. Enjoy premium shopping with our fabulous marketplace vendors and an electrifying fashion show showcasing our smallest fashionistas and healthcare heroes. It will be an amazing night full of food, fun, and of course, fashion. For more information and to purchase tickets, please visit givetostjosephs.org. We'll see you at the Rockley.
Did you know that heart disease is the #1 killer of women? I didn't, until it happened to me.
All women need to know that cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. Know your family history and talk to your doctor about heart disease.
Awareness may make the difference between life and death.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. So Montclair has voted to terminate their sister city relationship with a Russian town. This was intended to show solidarity with Ukraine, but opponents say the move actually sends the wrong message, closes down potentially vital lines of communication with isolated people. So just kind of an interesting little...
Some of the individuals, it's not their fault.
Right, it's not the people of the country, it's
They're
the
trying
leadership.
to punish Putin.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care.
I don't think he cares about what happens to
doesn't
his
care.
own people.
He doesn't
So
care.
yeah, exactly. But speaking of, if anybody did want to help, some of New Jersey's top pizza makers are holding a special tasting at Calabria Pizzeria in Livingston today. That money is the money that they're raising is going to go to UNICEF's Ukrainian Children's Fund. The 3-hour pizza party will start at noon, cost $25 per person. That seems fair to me. Seems reasonable. And
nice.
anytime I can eat pizza and help people out,
Absolutely.
I'm a go.
It's a win-win. It's definitely a win-win. Well, the New Jersey State Senate has approved a bill mandating 9/11 curriculum in the school, and this would include the historical context of the attacks for middle and high school students. And I know a lot of people are kind of surprised. They're like, what do you mean it isn't taught? But when you think about textbooks, they have to be reprinted, and that is a huge cost. So that is why 9/11 isn't taught necessarily, because it's not necessarily in the textbooks.
books.
And you've got to rewrite. You can't just say, all right, we're going to start teaching this particular subject.
Yeah.
And it's not in the textbooks.
That's a rough one. Yeah.
I know. So an outbreak of norovirus has been linked to oysters from Canada, and I do love oysters. I do too. But they were sent to New Jersey and other states. So health officials are saying avoid eating raw oysters for now. Are we in an R month now? April. Yeah. You can do R months. You can eat in R months, the colder months, right? April. May has no June, July, August. There's no R in that month. So it's the colder months that they say, as a rule of thumb, it's safer to eat. A little
safer.
Raw.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to hold off for now, which is unfortunate because I enjoy them as an appetizer when we go out. But
so good.
You know what? Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta for your Jersey forecast. Mike, so we have to skip our raw oyster appetizer, but if we're going out to dinner tonight, we're going to have a nice evening?
You will. It might be a little too early to do outdoor dining unless you have one of those little heating lamps next to you.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful because we've got some beautiful weather outside today. Sunshine across New Jersey with the dry weather helping our temperatures warm into the lower 60s, and that'll feel very pleasant. Even going forward into this weekend, there's a little bit of a cool down tomorrow and a few spot sprinkles return. However, that shouldn't ruin your weekend plans because with all the clear weather today, there'll be a nice warm up. Tomorrow makes it to the mid 50s, which is actually quite typical for the beginning of April. And even though there's a quick sprinkle around, Sunday is nice and dry, especially for early morning services on Palm Sunday. Then going into the afternoon, we stay cooler with some slightly drier and cooler weather coming in. Highs of only 50 in Morristown on Sunday, 53 in Newark, and 52 down by the shoreline there in Belmar. Now, with all of the flooding that we had last night, that water will eventually drain into the rivers and basins. You will find some road closures tomorrow, especially in Pine Brook along Route 46. We're not far from the NJ On Air studios, where you typically have big flooding after a heavy rainfall, usually about a day later. The Pine Brook River gauge expected to hit flood stage as soon as tomorrow afternoon, as all of that flood water collects and then drains out to the Passaic River. Now, our 7-day forecast brings back plenty of sunshine for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and that's really the winner of the week. 70 degrees on Tuesday with mostly sunny skies. Even the overnight temperatures are very pleasant. We'll hold in the upper 40s and low 50s going into next week. I think Wednesday with some extra clouds may make it to 70 in spots, but most of New Jersey holds at about 68 degrees. And look at that dry stretch of weather taking right through Sunday, going all the way to Wednesday of next week. That'll feel very pleasant. I think our next chance of rain beyond the sprinkles tomorrow is way down the line for Thursday of next week. And even that, just a few passing showers as a weak front pushes on through. So we've got some pretty decent weather ahead going forward for the next several days. Much of really what April should look like. I mean, considering we had so much rain, it'll be nice to dry things out after a while, especially with all of the wet weather from last night. We picked up more than a month's worth of rain in just the last 24 hours in some parts of New Jersey. So it'll look nice going forward, and we can enjoy all that nice April sunshine into next week. We'll have another check of your forecast, take another look of the 7-day. That's coming up. Kara and Laura in just a few minutes.
Yeah, Mike, it's so funny that you mentioned about Route 46, though, really fast. But that stretch of Route 46, I mean, you could spit on that section of Route 46 and it would flood, honestly. It's a nightmare.
I know.
Hey, Mike, I've got a quick question for you. When the sun's coming out, a lot of people are very tempted to go outside and to start planting. At a lot of the garden centers, they've got their flowers, but is it safe? Because I've always thought frost-free, you have to wait till Mother's Day. That's the first frost-free day.
Yeah, you do have to wait till at least May. Mother's Day is a good rule of thumb. Now, if we hit early May and there's a nice long trend of above average temperature, yeah, you certainly could plant by early May if there's a nice warm period ahead, because we can get like temperature ranges about 2 weeks out. But regarding planting now, no, it's way too early. The daffodils and a lot of the plants that you see, I know some of the flowers that are coming up right now. Well, remember, they're the hardy bulb variety that spend all winter underground, so they're hardy enough to withstand the quick frosts and freezes, but not sensitive new plants. Have to wait until at least early May.
You know what? The fig tree is in the garage. It's got like one leaf on it. It's like thinking about it.
It knows.
It knows. But we're like, not yet. Hang on.
Not yet.
Mike, thank you very much. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Well, guys, another sure sign of spring. Major League Baseball is back, and we're going to be talking about Seton Hall basketball. Anthony Paradiso is here from Jersey Sporting News. Tony Paradise, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Baseball is back.
Baseball is back. But wait, I want to start off locally. We want to start off. Seton Hall's women's team failed to advance to the WNIT championship game. Let's start there. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Actually, they did make it to the final of the NIT, but they lost badly, 82-50 to South Dakota State. One thing to notice there is that this was a scrappy team that went 24-13 during the regular season, and the highest that they were ranked was 87. Compare that to South Dakota State, who was ranked 30. So they were big underdogs in that game, and they came up a bit short, Laura and Kara.
So, Anthony, I kind of love, because I feel like this has been like the theme of Jersey college basketball this year, is like these underdog, scrappy teams, really surprising people. And while, none of them necessarily made it all the way, and, I think there's just so much Jersey pride running around these days, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great point. I think that, with Rutgers, beating 5 ranked opponents, including Purdue, who was first in the league back in December, that's big story for Jersey. A lot of pride there for Steve Peichel and his group. And then, with the Seton Hall men's team, they had a decent season, but St. Peter's,
That St. Peter's run.
Yeah, incredible run from them. Unfortunately, they're saying goodbye to their head coach, Shaheen Holloway, but, we'll see what goes on after.
That's wild. Yeah, I think it gives a lot of people something to look forward to for the next season. Like, that head coach shuffle, the fact that almost all of our local universities were in some sort of championship tournament this year.
And it really helps build that talent in college, because, we have an issue in New Jersey with all of our talented people leaving the state.
Keeping the kids in the state.
So it gets people really jazzed about staying in state, because we do have some very competitive teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Sure. Now, you led a little bit with baseball. So yesterday was MLB Opening Day. So let's let you hit it out of the park. Tell us, our audience, all about it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the Yankees Opening Day game against the Red Sox had to get pushed back due to the rain. They're going to go tonight. That'll be a big one. But the New York Mets, we have any Mets fans? They played last night. And they won 5-1 in their opening day. So, good for part of the New York baseball fans. Then, of course, I think we were talking about Todd Frazier, New Jersey's own from Toms River. Yeah. He announced his retirement after 11 seasons in Major League Baseball. He was a Rutgers graduate in 2007. Yeah. So, big story there. One of the greatest players to come out of New Jersey. Also, there's a picture of him standing next to Derek Jeter back when he was a Little League player. He came onto the field for the national anthem.
Yep. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Because he was a Little League World Series champion in 1998. He actually led off that game with a home run. Go ahead.
That was the Toms River Little League World Series.
Yes.
Yes, I covered that with News 12. And then the year after, yes. That's a whole
Awesome.
other topic of being able to cover that. But yes, I remember that year. That was so exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
So
how
exciting.
many?
And these kids grew. They're adults now.
That they're retiring.
I know.
I know. It's crazy, right?
But
I
we
think,
haven't aged, though.
No,
haven't
we are
aged,
eternal.
yeah, of course.
Hey,
Yeah.
Anthony, just looking forward to both the Yankees and the Mets. I know they've both had a couple of rough seasons the last few years. Is either team looking promising this year? Do we have something where we're like, okay, this looks like it's going to work out?
Well, the big story, let's start with the Mets. They got Max Scherzer in the offseason, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball, has been for a decade. He's going to be a huge boost if he could stay healthy, right? He's in his late 30s. He's got a lot of miles on there, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does this year. But their rotation got a big boost, even though they lost Noah Syndergaard. Then for the Yankees, all the news regarding the Yankees right now is about Aaron Judge and his contract. I think that they're going to sign him to a long-term deal, and that'll be all worked out. But, again, can Aaron Judge stay healthy? Can the starting rotation and Garrett Cole as the ace and Luis Severino, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery, can he be an impact player? So those are the storylines there. I think that, both teams are a bit short of championship quality. I would put the Yankees ahead of the Mets just on the depth that they have. And I think that, last season the Yankees made it to the wild card game where they lost to the Red Sox. They want to, get a little revenge for that against the Red Sox and start things off in this series off well with opening day today.
Right. And so you said they play tonight. What time are they playing?
7.
7 o'clock. All right. Anthony Paradiso, JerseySportingNews.com. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, again, JerseySportingNews.com for all of your Garden State sports updates. Anthony, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a good one.
Up next, the authors of The Wedding Survival Kit and what newly engaged couples need to do. You're going to want to stay with us. And also, you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who's going to be on the show. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
On Thursday, April 7th, join St. Joseph's Health Foundation at Fashion with Compassion, an annual benefit for St. Joseph's Children's Hospital. Enjoy premium shopping with our fabulous marketplace vendors and an electrifying fashion show showcasing our smallest fashionistas and healthcare heroes. It will be an amazing night full of food, fun, and of course, fashion. For more information and to purchase tickets, please visit givetostjosephs.org. We'll see you at the Rockley.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. And we were talking a little bit about this right before the show started. So it's going to cost more to mail a letter as of July. The post office is going to be raising rates across the board, but forever stamps are going to go from 58 cents to 60 cents. Now, before it goes into place, the price increase will be reviewed by the Postal Regulatory Commission. But we were kind of chatting. It was like, I don't know why people really get fired up. When the post office raises its rates, well, it's 2 cents.
Because when you think about it, it really is a good deal. Think about it. Letters going from your house all the way across the country for pennies.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody
wants it to go up.
It's still apparently the least expensive mode of communication, I think, at this point, possibly. Right. Not just in the country. I believe I was reading somewhere that actually on the USPS is the most affordable on the planet in terms of... The only other postal system I can speak to is the Italian one, which is abysmal. I mean, nothing...
I like how you...
when you're speaking that way, Mike knows, meteorologist Mike Favetta knows, right? Guys, I don't know, Mike, if you just saw my hand gesture there, and you used to live in Italy, you can speak to the Italian.
Got to be careful with that hand gesture if I send us overseas. We need to be careful there. But yes, I received the Christmas card for Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
And then we
I have
a
gotten
little
Christmas
December.
cards in the summer coming from my cousins.
Really?
I mean, it,
Oh, wow.
it will never get there. Send it 6 months in advance.
But
So
here we are.
the extra
So-
2 cents on the forever stamp, I'm not too upset about.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I still have a lot of forever
I was
stamps.
gonna say,
from
and I got a
Christmas
roll of
didn't-
them.
Yeah, yeah. So buy them now before they go up, and you'll save 2 cents.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Just go buy them up now.
Mike, we can walk to the post office this weekend, can't we? Because it's going to be a nice weekend.
Absolutely. It'll look fantastic with the clear sky, the spring-like weather. Just remember your allergy, the box of tissues with the allergies being so bad. Going forward, there's going to be plenty of sunshine, milder weather, as well as a clear afternoon for today. Now, by tomorrow, there's a few pop-up sprinkles that'll be around. That's as the cooler weather slides in for Sunday, but I still think we'll get mostly sunny skies out of the second half of the weekend. The dry weather sticks around going into Monday and Tuesday, and with that pleasantly dry weather, temperatures soar to 70 by the middle of next week. So we have a Tuesday, Wednesday package deal of 68 and 70 degrees. It'll look fantastic by then. And with the dry stretch of weather, we get to dry things out after all of the flooding rains last night. So the next chance beyond tomorrow of a quick passing shower will be Thursday. And with the 69-degree high on Thursday, still not too shabby, especially with a few sprinkles in the afternoon. But I think overall, that will be a weak front that slides through. So I'm not talking about the heavy rains like we endured last night. It seems to happen every Thursday. We get another round of heavy rain. Our good news is with this dry stretch of weather ahead, this is the trend to be above average going forward for this week. Lots of great weather to enjoy, especially this weekend as well as early next week. So take the time to smell those flowers because, yes, even though the trees are blossoming, you've got some beautiful apple and cherry blossoms happening right now across New Jersey. I think with the milder weather, it really will be pleasant to take a, kind of stop and sniff around at the beautiful bounties that the Garden State has with this gorgeous weather for the next few days. It's been a little gray and gloomy the last few days, so I think this will be a nice change going forward. So yeah, take that stroll to the post office, especially with all the clear skies around and milder weather upcoming this weekend and next. Kara and Laura?
Oh, it sounds so nice. Mike, you might want to hang around for this next interview as you are the next one of us who is planning a wedding.
Okay.
And so if you can, just stick around a bit.
Sure.
Warm weather, as Mike just told us, known for being the time for wedding season. Here to talk about their new book, The Wedding Survival Kit, are Nadine and Irv Breckner. Am I saying that properly?
Yes, you are.
Excellent. Guys, welcome to the show. Good morning to you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, good morning. We love your show.
Oh, thank you so much.
you.
So I've been flipping through the book. We have our copy here. Where did you guys come up with the idea for this?
Well, the book came about as a result of planning our daughter's wedding and talking with a lot of friends, and 2 couples in particular we thought were having a very good experience with one, their daughter, and one, their son. That is Carol and Bob Schilling, and Paulette and John Pataniak are co-authors. And we just started exchanging information. What did you do about the venue? How did you plan this? How did you go about this? And we just thought we all had very, very good insights. We were helping each other. We said, why don't we help other people with the same information?
Right.
And after
go
last
ahead.
wedding, all 3 kids got married last year. And after the last wedding, we all kind of looked at each other and said, if we knew way back when what we knew now, it'd be a lot easier. And that's when the Wedding Survival Kit was born. And here we are 3 months later with a book that we self-published.
So not only did you have to do a lot in a short amount of time, you had to do it under extraordinary circumstances in the middle of a pandemic. So what is the most important takeaway?
Well, I think it's that the most successful, low-stress, high-fun wedding planning experiences are ones where there is collaboration, cooperation, and communication between the couple and their parents, friends, siblings, and vendors. A lot of people are involved to varying degrees of planning. And the more you can talk, communicate openly, compromise, that's the way it turns out the best. In fact, we like to say that, like business and sports, wedding planning, the teamwork makes the dream work. And it's really true.
And we think it's really important to have fun. remember, this is just the beginning of a very long relationship. So have fun, enjoy each other, don't criticize each other, communicate, collaborate, compromise. It's important to get along, and remember, you're in for the long haul, not just for the wedding.
Right. Well, that is the thing. There's a wedding, but then there's the marriage. And if you have so much stress during the wedding, that's not a great start to your marriage, which is really what it's all about.
Absolutely. And it's not only the couple. It's the parents, the step-parents, the
whole
siblings.
family.
There's a lot of people involved, and we want to all have a great relationship going forward too.
Well, so I'm gonna let Mike Favetta ask any question he might have, as he is somewhat newly engaged. I think we've got your wedding off the ground.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I think the biggest challenge so far has been to, as my fiance is off camera here, kind of putting her into her part.
We love you, Steph. We've subjected Stephanie to so much scrutiny during this wedding planning so far, because we love Mike and really.
She loves the kitchen comments, by the way, Laura.
Yeah,
so
I love her. She knows I love her. All right, ask your question.
It's all about finding the right person, and I think the Zoom interviews have been very convenient, where you don't have to actually go and meet the person, in person, the vendor that you're looking for. That has been good. But the challenge, and I don't know if your kids had this issue, was finding a venue with availability in the next 18 months, because it seems like everything is booked.
Well, actually, that's a very good issue that you raise. Our book has 44 stress reducers, and these are one-page, bite-sized ways of tools and advice on how to help solve particular problems, whether it's who to invite or where people sit, and so forth. We do have a special report about booking weddings in this age of high numbers. I don't know if you know, but in New Jersey this year, there will be 55,000 weddings. So that's more than 1,000 every week. And you're right, the wedding venues are getting harder and harder to book. So there are things you can do, like offbeat. Most people think of typical wedding venues, but there's lots of other places you can go and other ideas. So that's why communications are so important.
And I also think that the couple might have to be flexible. The days of just the Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday weddings are gone, or you might just have to, maybe you wanted a certain weekend, but, it's booked and the venue you absolutely want can't accommodate you. You have to say, okay, what's so terrible about maybe a week before, a week after, or maybe one day during the week? I think it's key to be flexible and not get too crazy during the process.
And due to COVID, the venues are all backed up, and they're like booking a year and a half worth of weddings in 1 year. So you got to be really flexible and come up with plan B.
Yep, that's it. And now you have a section in the book, and it's called If We Had to Do It Over. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We interviewed for the book many couples and parents, and we asked them, if you had to do the planning over, what would you do differently? Because as we all know, hindsight is better than foresight. 2020. And we heard lots of interesting comments of how people would do things differently.
Yes. And most of all, they said, I wouldn't need it to be so perfect. Sometimes people make themselves so crazy to have everything perfect, and you get so stressed while you're trying to plan it. I used to plan events for Trinitas Regional Medical Center, and, we wanted perfect events. We had, our donors coming, and we wanted everything perfect. Had we, maybe relaxed a little in the process and enjoyed it, it still would have been perfect, but we wouldn't have been so crazy. So we tell people, please relax, try not to strive for that perfection.
Well, because that vibe can kind of seep into the audience. If people think, oh man, they don't look like they're having fun and enjoying themselves, then the guests aren't having fun, and then nobody's having a good time. And people, they want to celebrate. They want to have a good time.
That's what it should be. It's a celebration of your love. So does it matter when you talk about the date? Is it okay if it's, a week or two later, or a month later, or, maybe it's not the exact venue? You're going to make it perfect because you're together. And you'll be with all your loved ones and, your family and friends.
I remember when I was getting married, I read something that said, if at the end of the day you're married, it was the perfect day. Exactly. That's the end game. That's where we're going.
That's it.
Guys, where can people find the book?
Well, it's on Amazon.com in both print and ebook. They can go to our website, which is stress-gone.net, to learn more. And while there, you can also see several of the stress reducers, what they look like and how they read. We're also working on a Catholic edition with a local marriage ministry. And we're just very excited because some of the people we've talked to, like, for example, one mother of 3 brides and 1 groom, said people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And we were in the same boat at the beginning of our planning. So here's the way to get a lot of information to minimize stress and conflict at the beginning of the process and not having to go through it wondering where you are. And another woman who was married in 1954 said, the times have changed, but the issues are exactly the same. Who to invite back 70 years ago is the same as who to invite now.
You are absolutely correct. Irvin, Nadine, thank you very much. Mike, we'll hang on to this for you. We'll pass this on next time we see you.
All right.
Give us a call. Mike, we've got a lot of good information. Read the book. Let us help you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Again, Irvin, Nadine, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. And like we said, we will make good use of this here. Yep. We'll make sure Mike gets his hands on it.
Okay, enjoy. Congratulations. Thanks for having us.
I'm going to peek through it too.
Yeah.
Because I've got a graduation party for my
there you
daughter
go.
and an 18th birthday party and, other things. So there are probably some tips I can glean from this.
You probably could.
Just about venues, because there's no place to have a graduation party.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about a venue that I was at last weekend, Mountain Creek, and they pulled off this awesome event. It was the first one in New Jersey. It was called Culinary Fight Club, okay?
Okay.
So, Laura, this was so cool.
Fun.
It was almost like a Chopped style thing. So
Yeah.
they were teams of 2. In this particular one, they had to create not only a dish, but the appropriate cocktail. And you were judged all together on both. So their secret ingredient was bison, bison flank steak.
Oh, wow.
And so we had 8 chefs. They each had to create a dish using the bison flank steak and have a cocktail that paired perfectly with it. This was actually, I'm not going to lie, this was my favorite cocktail.
What is it?
It was a vodka sour. So Deep Eddy Vodka was the cocktail sponsor. And so they had to use a lime vodka and then the bison flank steak.
Wow.
And create this. These guys, and they had to do it in an hour. They had an hour, and they were all out in the like the main hall up at Mountain Creek. People could come, so the guests could come, walk by, watch what the chefs were doing, ask them questions, be in their face, like
so cool.
Yeah,
because you watch it on TV, because it's a science, it's an art, it's a competition, it's all of these different things under an immense deadline.
Yes, yes. And so these guys, they just all did a great job. And then I was one of the judges along with my good friend, Chef Eric Levine, who had a couple of restaurants here. The Chef Carmine DiGiovanni, who was the assistant, or I don't remember his specific title, but he works for David Burke's restaurants. They're opening a couple new ones here in New Jersey. And then one of the guys who does the Steve Fetty, who works for Allied Beverage, that's him there. Yeah. And so we were, we had to judge these guys, like I said, not only the dish, but the cocktail along with it. And actually, this is our winner. You can see him on the right there. That was.
Do you remember what he made?
Yes, he made. So what I really liked about his dish was he really stuck with his roots. So he's, a Puerto Rican chef. He did rice and beans. He did that flank steak, real thinly sliced, with like nice mojo and platano, and he just really made a nice classic dish, worked well with the ingredients, and he happened to have the best cocktail. I will tell you, because this dish was excellent too. A lot of these the chefs did a bang up job, and the cocktails kind of didn't.
The cocktails didn't
mesh.
go.
Yeah. So it was a bit of it was definitely a challenge for them, but they all rose to the occasion. They really did a knockout job.
And it looks so beautiful as well. It's one thing to create something that tastes good, but then making it look like a work of art.
Yes.
This is a skill set I do not have.
Yeah.
I don't. I can do a lot of things. I can't. I can order. I can order.
Can order in.
Takeout. I'm really good with takeout.
Yep.
Do the McDonald's drive-thru like nobody's business.
We should not be doing McDonald's drive-thru, Laura.
No.
That is. There's too much good food here in New Jersey.
They're French fries.
They are addictive. They are
French fries are good.
But really, this was such a great way to showcase, local chefs. You know, these guys that are doing just some great stuff out there, and we're definitely going to be doing the event again next year. So be sure to keep a lookout for it.
I want to come to it next time.
Because everybody you don't just get to watch, you get to eat.
Awesome.
You get a bite because there's a Taster's Choice Award. So not only did we as the judges get to pick, but the audience also got an opportunity to vote for their favorite dish and cocktail.
Awesome. And then you get to see it without the TV magic, right? Because you watch these shows on TV and you're wondering how much are they editing out?
Exactly.
What are you not seeing? So you actually get to see the good and probably the not so good.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
That's it.
We had it all for sure. So a great event. So again, Culinary Fight Club, you can follow them along. They do stuff all around the country, but this was the first one in New Jersey, and I was really excited to be a part of it.
And we do talk about Fight Club.
Yes, in this case,
we do talk about.
In this case, we talk about Fight Club. Yes, absolutely.
Rule number 1: we talk
about Fight Club.
Rule number 2: we eat at Fight Club.
Good girl, good girl. That's it. Laura, it has been such a pleasure having you here with me today.
Thank
for
you.
Our Lisa Marie Falbo, who is getting some rest. She had a big event last night. So.
She did, but she'll be back next week.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will be back next week, and we hope you will be back next week because we love to have you with us every Friday morning. You can join us live at 9 a.m. And if you missed anything, you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated who's going to be showing the next week. And again, if you missed anything, you can always go back and check out those segments. Click follow. We love you. Have a great weekend.